This is Colin O'Keefe here for LXBN TV. Modern workplaces are more flexible and evolving than ever, with not only people but pets joining the fray, as well as people are more and more bringing their dogs to work. But are there legal issues at play here? Joining me to discuss is attorney Rachelle Hill. She's with Kinney Korman, an author on the firm's Virginia Employment Law Journal. Rachelle, first, when an employer decides to allow pets, they want to be a more flexible workplace, have people bring their pets if they would like to, what are the first steps that should be taken to make sure that, everything's, up to par, safe, and those types of things?
Hi, Colin, and thank you for having us on. Really appreciate it. A couple things. First, I want to just indicate that when we talk about animals at work, we're not talking about service animals under the Americans with Disabilities Act. So that's a whole other separate issue. So we're talking about just the dog you have at home that you like to play catch fetch with and you enjoy their company. So we've decided to bring dogs to work. First thing you need to do as an employer is you need to check with your landlord and make sure that you can have pets in the workplace. Review your lease. If there's any question, you need to go ahead and ask the landlord, because you don't want to have 50 dogs in the office and then find out that they're not allowed. The next thing you want to do, if you are already an established business, you want to do a survey of your employees just to figure out, does anyone have allergies? Is anyone scared of dogs? And that way you can go ahead and address an issue before it becomes one. So, for instance, let's say one of the coworkers or one of your employees has allergies. She's severely allergic to dogs. Well, one thing you can do is barricade it so that no dogs go near her area. Maybe relocate some employees. Just take some steps in advance so that you don't end up with an issue. Because, for instance, having allergies, particularly severe allergies, can possibly be disabled under the Americans with Disabilities Act. So you don't want to do that. So you've gone through, you figured out exactly what you're dealing with. You need to have a written policy. And so in order to have a written policy, you got to figure out several things. You need to figure out what kind of pets you're going to allow. Typically, like you said, it's dogs. You're most likely going to want to have well-behaved, not aggressive, housebroken dogs. You don't want someone coming in with their puppy. It's just not a good situation for anyone. You also want to decide whether or not you're just going to allow employees to start bringing pets, or if you want to evaluate it on a case-by-case. I'd recommend doing it on a case-by-case situation. Another thing you want to do is you want to require that employees have the ability to take the pet home. So a pet comes in, bites somebody, has a couple accidents, the employee needs to be able to take the pet home immediately. The last thing you want to do, which is a really important one, is you want to make sure that there's some insurance to cover if there's an issue. Typically, I would recommend that you require that an employee have insurance. One thing to look at with that is that there is a workplace exception in a lot of insurance policies. So in that case, it might not cover an accident at work. So one other thing that you'll need to do is you can require the employee sign an indemnification agreement. So that'll just require, if there is damage to the property or to people, that they will indemnify you as the employer. So those are the big ticket items to check off.
I see. So say you've completed all of the legwork, you've checked everything, is make sure it's how you want it to be, and now, the dogs are actually coming to the office. This is happening. People are bringing their pets in. Are there any other things that employers and employees should be aware of, once it becomes a reality, once, people are actually bringing in their dogs?
Well, one thing is that employees need to realize that it's a privilege to have a pet in the office. It's not a right. So that's something that can be changed without any notice. So if it could be that the employer decides this isn't working, or they could decide that a particular pet is an issue, and employees need to understand that. The other thing that this goes with any employee policy is employers need to apply the policy uniformly. You need to apply it to everyone the same and make sure that you're actually enforcing the policy, so that it doesn't end up where you have a written policy, but everyone's bringing their pet to work, no one has insurance, and that's just going to create an issue that you altogether want to avoid. So if you do all those things, hopefully it'll be a great positive experience for everyone.
Definitely. It's always nice. We have some here at LexBlog. Every now and then somebody will bring in their dog, and it's always exciting. But beforehand, you want to make sure that all your policies are in order, and you want to make sure everything's safe and enjoyable for everyone on hand. Once again, that was Rachelle Hill of Bean, Kinney, and Korman. For more of her insight on other topics in the employment law arena, be sure to visit VirginiaEmploymentLawJournal.com. Thank you for joining me today, Rachelle.
Thank you.